What's up guys, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing part 3 of our Halo 3 LASO walkthrough. This is Tsavo Highway. You're going to notice when you spawn in here that there's going to be 2 fires right in front of you to your left and right, and there's one behind you as well, so don't touch any of those. Make sure you avoid them because they actually will damage you and take your shield down, so we want to move around those carefully. And then we go up to here, grab a BR. So we have a full battle rifle. The other weapon that you have doesn't matter. We're just going to jump into the hog here, and we're going to move up to this doorway, activate the switch, and we're going to hang out here while the door opens up. There should be some Marines behind you that are coming up into your Warthog, so just wait for them. You want to make sure you grab a gunner for the turret on the back and also someone to ride shotgun right next to you. So as soon as those 2 guys hop in, you can head out through the door to the next section of the mission here. Just follow this path, and up ahead here you're going to see me pause before going around a corner, and the reason for that is because there are enemies charging my location and I want them to get closer to me before I drive towards them. And that location where we're going to pause before going around the corner is right here, and we're just waiting here for a few seconds. There's no specific amount of time you need to wait. And this first group of enemies that we're going to see are not the enemies I'm talking about. I'm talking about the enemies further on outside here, and you can see it includes this brute, and we need to kill him and get his bubble shield. Sometimes he has one, sometimes he doesn't. Try to splatter him, but he dives out of the way like he did here a lot of the time. But if that happens, all you have to do is get out of your Warthog and just kind of get behind him and smack him. He's scripted to just walk up to the top of the hill here, but make sure you grab his bubble shield. If you splatter him, you'll be able to see it on the ground, so you could go grab it, but if you assassinate him, you can't really visually tell if he dropped one or not because you'll either pick it up immediately or he won't drop one at all. Fortunately, there's a sound effect that plays when you pick up a bubble shield, so listen closely if you assassinate him. If he simply doesn't drop one at all, just restart the level or revert to your last checkpoint and try again. So I showed a couple instances of doing that part, but now we're going to the next section. There's going to be 2 Jackal snipers on the ground, and you want to face the leftmost one. So you can see there's one kind of on the left side of that broken sniper tower, and there's one on the right. We want to face the one on the left because, as you can see, when we were kind of just facing straight at that left one, neither of them were able to get a good shot on us, and we could just wait for our turret guy to take them out. So now that those 2 guys are dead, I'm going to grab one of the beam rifles and give it to the guy on the turret. I'm not actually going to want him to use it. He's just going to keep using the turret, and he's going to basically carry the weapon for me throughout the rest of the mission, or at least through part of the mission, so I could grab it from him later if I need it. So I'm grabbing the other beam rifle for myself. Make sure I have full BR ammo. So I have a beam rifle, a BR, and the guy in the back of the Warthog has a beam rifle as well that he's carrying for me. And now I'm going to move up my Warthog up to here, and we're going to take out this 3rd Jackal sniper. He's up in the tower right here, so we're going to take him out with the BR or the beam rifle, either way. And then we're going to focus on the brute up here who has a fuel rod. We want the fuel rod, that's why we're stopping here. You could drive through this whole section pretty easily, but I actually just want to take out these guys so I could grab that fuel rod so I could give it to my passenger, and then we'll have a fully loaded, very powerful Warthog. It takes 3 shots with the beam rifle to take down the shield and armor of the brute, and ideally you'd land that 3rd shot on his head to finish him off, but I wanted to show you how to deal with him if you missed that headshot. He's a super easy target right now on the turret, a little too easy, so I'll show you how to deal with him if he doesn't want to cooperate so much. And obviously I thinned out all the grunts over there as well. There's still some alive, but we picked off a bunch of them. We're going to get in our Warthog, and we're going to drive to the left of this rock up ahead here, and we're going to get out right about here, and we could kind of just camp out over here with our BR and easily take out all of these grunts and this now shieldless, armorless brute. Normally he would not be on the turret, so he would be shooting at you with the fuel rod, but you could quickly kill him with a BR headshot and then finish off any of the other grunts that are still alive over here. But you want to be aware of the fact that once you leave the Warthog, the Marines that are in the Warthog tend to get out and start driving it themselves, as you can see is happening here. So you don't want to leave the Warthog for too long, or else you might find that they're driving away and leaving you behind. So you always want to check back on that Warthog. And speaking of checking, you want to check around to make sure there's no grunts that are still alive. There might be one kind of hiding behind the phantom wreckage in this area. There's also that rock that we went to the left of initially and kind of wrapped around. There tend to be grunts that kind of go between this wreckage and that sniper tower where we killed that 3rd Jackal sniper. And as you can see here, I'm going to grab the fuel rod like I mentioned and give it to my passenger, so he's going to use it and effectively have infinite ammo, so it's going to make his effectiveness much, much higher. So we're going to drive down now to this tower where we killed that 3rd Jackal sniper, and we're going to grab his sniper. So now I have a full sniper again. Well, not full because famine is on, but as full as you could get on LASO. And then we're going to drive back up here, and I have a beam rifle myself, a BR. My buddy in my shotgun has a fuel rod, and you can see here there's a deployable cover, and I'm just going to use this to effectively see if I have the bubble shield. So that's another way you could check. If you're not 100% sure if you heard that sound where you picked up the bubble shield in the beginning, just walk over that deployable cover, and if you don't automatically pick it up, that means you already have something, and that something is a bubble shield. So we're going to wrap around this area now. I like to try to splatter this brute as we go around here, and then I quickly like to turn around and go back the way we came. And you're going to see I'm going to park my Warthog in a specific way so we avoid having these guys hop out and drive it around like they did in the previous section. You can see I parked it so my driver's side is kind of up against the wall here, so they can't walk up to it and get in anymore. So they're going to try, but they're not going to be able to get in. And at this point, I'm going to move ahead, and I won't have to worry about them taking my Warthog and driving away. But your first priority is taking out any of these remaining grunts that were by that brute that we splattered initially, because they like to kind of get closer to you and throw nades, and we want to just pick those guys off real quick with headshots. So watch out for those guys. And then we want to turn our attention to the far snipers. There's going to be 4 snipers in this area, and I'm getting naded by grunts like I mentioned. So definitely keep an eye on that left side. Even if you kill all of the grunts that are over there initially, there might be some more grunts that walk up to that area and start throwing nades at you. So keep an eye over there. You can see I'm kind of looking towards the left pretty consistently. And we took out that jackal over there, so now that's 2 down. And we're going to look towards the right. There is going to be a sniper tower over here, which is where the 3rd jackal is. I'm just backing up because I'm getting shot at by the turret, obviously. But I'm going to move towards the left, kind of behind that rock where we killed that brute, where we splattered that brute. And you could get a good vantage point to take out this sniper over here. And for the final jackal, he's going to be up in a tower on the left side. And we're just going to move back towards our Warthog, kind of up this wall here. And you could get a good vantage point on him from here. And he's far enough away where he doesn't really notice you too often. So we're going to take him out easily enough. He wasn't even looking at us. And we're going to move back to our Warthog. We're going to hop into the driver's seat and make sure the fuel rod guy gets in your passenger seat. Sometimes one of these extra Marines feels like riding along with you. And you got to say, nay, get out of here. We want the fuel rod guy. And now we're going to drive towards this turret over here. We want to drive kind of towards the left side of it, and then we could cut into the right so we could avoid a lot of that plasma fire. And while we're doing that, our fuel rod guy should be laying into him and killing him pretty quickly. And now I'm going to park my Warthog like I did in the previous parking spot, which is kind of back it up so I could have my driver's side facing a wall so they don't hop out and get in the driver's side themselves and then drive away. So we're going to focus now on the brute shot brute over there. He is the most dangerous guy. You could drive through this whole section, but it's a little tough, and the more people you kill before trying to drive through obviously makes it a lot easier, and the brute shot guy is definitely someone that we want to take out. He makes it a lot harder because he could hit you with one brute shot, and then all of a sudden you're flying and flipping through the air, and then you have no control, and then you're just going to get naded by the grunts and everything. So definitely take out the brute shot brute. Ideally take out everybody before you try to drive through, but you definitely want to prioritize this guy with your beam rifle. So this is one of the reasons why I brought the beam rifle with the turret guy. I gave the turret guy the beam rifle in case I run out. Then you still have his beam rifle you could take from him and then continue to use. And we could also use the beam rifle from the jackal we killed who was in the sniper tower before we just got here. If the brute shot guy is tough to spot, you could always just change your position, which is what I'm going to do here. Sometimes he hides behind certain rocks and it's tough to see him from a certain angle, but you just change your position like I am here. You could go over here and pretty safely shoot at him. But before we focus on that brute shot guy, we want to look down and to the left, and oftentimes there are grunts that gather here by that overturned Warthog. You can see there was one looking at me, and that could have been deadly if he decided to stick me without me even looking at him. But with that grunt dead and my flanks covered, I was able to focus on that brute. We took him out, and we could actually continue to kill people from across the way here, just to ensure it is super safe when we do decide to take our Warthog to the next section. You can see the turret is still there. There's still some grunts running around. There's a brute with a spike rifle, but he's not too much of a threat. I'll take him out anyway. And then we could turn our attention to the grunts. We still got that big turret over there, but our fuel rod guy should take him out pretty quickly as we drive over there. At this point, I'm comfortable driving past the remaining enemies. You could decide to continue killing those guys if you are not comfortable. So I'm going to hop back into the Warthog, and we're going to drive towards the turret. And again, we're not going to drive straight at the turret. We're going to kind of drive at an angle or at a curve, so that way we avoid most of the plasma bolts that come at us. And you can see that's what's happening here. I don't drive straight at it. I'm kind of driving at an angle towards it. At this point, I would take away the fuel rod from your passenger, and that way you'll ensure you get a checkpoint with him not having a fuel rod, because it's going to be somewhat detrimental in the next section. So I would switch before going over here, but we're already doing it. So I'm going to drive over here, and at this point I'm going to bail out because I remember I don't want to get a checkpoint with him having the fuel rod, because then I'll have to get out every single time if I end up having to revert a bunch of times. So now I have the fuel rod. I'm going to get a checkpoint about here, and then we're going to keep driving, and you want to drive your Warthog to the left and kind of to the right side of this rock, so you kind of hit this building up ahead here. We're going to bail out and quickly get in behind the fuel rod chieftain, and we're going to smack him for shields. You want to wrap up around behind him and smack them in the back for shields. That's pretty much the only reason you want to smack them and kill them, is to ensure you have full shields for this next part. Gather his fuel rod ammo. You don't really need all that ammo. There's more BR ammo here, so grab that. We have a full BR, we have fuel rod, and we want to preserve the Warthog we came in on. We're going to jump on top of this building and stand right here, and you want to zoom in and center your reticle right in the middle of the shield door, and then you want to look up until your reticle is on the nearest cable that's kind of draped across your view here. And at that point, I like to fire 4 rounds. It takes less than 4 rounds, but I just like to shoot 4 for insurance. There's another Warthog directly to my right that's overturned that you could grab and use if this one blows up, but ideally you want to use the one you arrived in. So we're going to follow this path and just drive right through. You could see that the fuel rods actually hit the door shield, and the splash damage went through the door shield and destroyed what was generating the shield itself. So we're able to move through, and most of the time doing that, you'll actually despawn these drones that normally come in. But we're actually going to bail out right about here for a second, because there's actually, watch the gap there when you jump over it, there's actually, up on this ladder, a regenerator. So go up here, and we could switch out our bubble shield that we're carrying for this regen. Throw it down. Make sure you don't accidentally throw your bubble shield down off the pipe, and then you have to go find it, maybe losing it forever. So just kind of look straight down when you're picking up that regen, and then you'll be able to put your bubble shield straight down, and then you can pick up the bubble shield once your shield is all the way back up to full status. And then we'll move over here, and obviously we need the grav lift to go over the gap here, but we could actually do that because there's a second grav lift in this mission. Normally, if you're speedrunning, you would grab the one that's in the previous section, but there's actually one up ahead here, so we're going to do that. And while we're up there on the wall, we're actually going to take out some grunts to make it easier to drive through so we don't get stuck as often, because those grunts like to throw grenades on LASO. So we're going to move towards the right here as we approach this section. There's going to be a brute fighting a marine or 2 over here, along with 2 grunts. We're going to try to headshot these 2 grunts with our battle rifle, and we're just trying to minimize the amount of grunts in this area, because again, they will stick you, or try to stick you at least, while you're driving through with the Warthog. So just shoot those 2 grunts, and then we'll move up onto the wall here. And you're going to see there is a dead marine with a sniper rifle up here. So we're going to grab that sniper, exchange your fuel rod for the sniper. We have a sniper and BR, and you can see the grav lift is right here. So we're going to kind of juggle this up the ramp here over the pipe, and then over the side of the wall as we get to this side. And make sure you juggle it onto the road itself. You don't want to juggle it and throw it off the side of the road on either side, and then you might actually lose it and throw it off the cliff or something. So we're going to jump back over here real quick, and we're going to take out these grunts. There should be 3 grunts towards the front of those pipes, and then 2 grunts on the far side by that fuel rod brute over there. So with the sniper and BR that we have, we want to take these guys out, and you want to do this quickly. You don't have to take out all of them. Just thinning out any of them just makes it easier, like I mentioned, because they like to try to stick you. And if you spend too much time up here, there will be some brutes that actually jetpack up here and cause some issues for you. So you can see that's happening right now. I'm going to grab the plasma pistol that's up there. You can see I just grabbed that. That's important. And then we want to move over here. So I have a plasma pistol. I have a battle rifle. Ideally, I would have a plasma pistol and a fuel rod, but that's okay. I'm going to go down here now and continue juggling these items. I guess I don't really need to be juggling these items all the way over here, because I could just use the grav lift, bring the Warthog over, and then grab the bubble shield at any point. But we're going to jump back over the gap to be reunited with our Warthog, and we're going to hop in. We're going to deploy the grav lift so it actually shoves our Warthog into the air and over the gap. It's pretty easy. There's no specific spot you got to put the grav lift. It's pretty forgiving. So just drive right over it. It'll propel you upwards, and then you can take this to the next section. So we're going to grab the bubble shield that we were juggling over here, and now we're going to move forward, and we're going to go through these pipes. You want to slow down as you approach these pipes, because if you go at full speed, you'll kind of get launched up into the top of the pipe, because it's kind of a ramp right there, the terrain. But we're going to drive and follow this path. You'll probably get a checkpoint right about here. So we're going to follow this path, and this is a pretty specific path you need to follow. You want to cut in to the left side of that tower and just kind of do this little zigzag fashion. There's a lot of invisible geometry in this little path here, so you might get stuck on something. You want to follow that path fairly strictly. And as I come around the corner, I'm going to try to splatter one of the brutes and hop out and assassinate the other brute quickly. And you can see they're kind of distracted by the marines they're fighting in the corner. So it's not too bad. You get the jump on them. You get a quick splatter, and then the other guy's kind of startled, and you could wrap up around behind him quickly. Once we take care of those 2 brutes, we're going to go over here and grab this fuel rod, and we're going to juggle it over to our new buddies over here who are standing by this Warthog. They tend to like this Warthog a lot more than the one I brought in here. I don't know why. They're a little biased, but flip it over for them, and what we want to do is the same thing we did earlier in the mission, which is give the guy in the passenger side the fuel rod gun so he could be a lot more effective. And we want the other guy with whatever gun he has to be in the turret. So we're going to have him get in here if he ever wants to get in here. Frankly, from what I'm seeing right now, I don't think he deserves any weaponry at all. I think we need to take his guns and ammo away from him until he's had a full medical evaluation. But there we go. We convinced him to get in the Warthog, so now I could start the process of getting him out of the Warthog, giving him this fuel rod, and then having him get back in. Hopefully it's not as much of a scene as it was last time trying to get him to cooperate. But now I have a battle rifle, I have a plasma pistol, and I have the fuel rod guy in the passenger side, and I have a random guy in the back. And we're going to go back the way we came. The Wraith has despawned from this section, but there's 2 choppers that I want to take out, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a little bit. But I basically just kind of throw my Warthog up there, bail out, and hide behind it, and let the 2 Marines and the Warthog do all the heavy lifting. And I'll just kind of hang back behind here and use my overcharged plasma pistol to stun any choppers that may come near me. And I'll finish them off with either boarding them or with a headshot if I could get their shields down. I just moved the Warthog up a little bit further into the playable area here. The reason I didn't do that initially is because I was getting shot immediately upon entering this area. Normally you're not getting shot at right away. It's kind of random where the choppers are because they're kind of just driving around in this section until you happen to come back and rejoin them. But you can see here I just stunned this guy, and I'm going to decide to board him simply because I will be able to get my shield back, and I'll just kind of throw his chopper over here so that way he cannot get back in it, or it'll be very tough for him because there's this turret set up right here. Oh god, maybe not. Maybe there's no turret anymore. Just got lit up by this chopper here. So I'm just going to try to finish off this chopper by myself with a couple Marines on foot, I guess. It's actually not too bad. You just kind of want to keep strafing. And I'm also being fairly aggressive here by kind of taking the lead. I could always just kind of hide behind something and allow the chopper to engage my Marines, and then I could just kind of pounce whenever the chopper kind of goes haywire, which is fairly common. The chopper is an unwieldy beast. It's tough to master for both the player and the brutes, apparently. And now that the choppers are taken care of, we want to immediately switch out our plasma pistol for this guy's fuel rod. Don't forget to do that. It's very important, and we're going to move back to the previous section, or not, I guess the next section. It's the previous section that we were in, but it's actually the next section in the mission. And we're going to go over here. We're going to grab a chopper. We have a fuel rod at this point, and we want to just hide in the corner here. You don't want to shoot your weapons at all here. And you can see there's a Wraith in the distance on the highway. You want to just sit here. If you start shooting at it, it will start shooting at you. We're just going to wait here for some dialogue. We're going to wait for like 3-4 minutes. And eventually there will be some dialogue from Johnson over the comms saying, "Brutes have plenty of armor between here and Voy, Chief, but this Warthog should help you punch through." At that point, we want to turn around. And yet again, one more time, we're going to go back to the previous section. And what we're going to do is hit a series of load zones again, because we're going back towards the beginning of the level here. And what this is going to do is actually despawn a bunch of the choppers in the section we just came from, but also despawn the 3 Wraiths that are in that area as well. So that's going to be a big help. You could speedrun through all of this, but this just makes it a lot easier. And you can see here there's some funky, weird physics happening. There's oftentimes when you do this exploit, there will be a phantom or 2 on the ground, and you can see it's kind of stuck in the ground. It's not going to leave. You want to be careful because sometimes there are still brutes alive over here from when you were here last, but also sometimes there's some brutes actually on the phantom itself. This time around, that is not the case, but you just want to be aware of that possibility. So you might have to shoot out the turrets. This time we didn't have to, but we're just going to speed over here. We're going to go back over the gap, and this is going to show you how to jump over this gap up ahead here, because we know how to do that gap. We've done that one a couple times. But this one's a little more difficult, but not hard. You want to go to this point right here onto this broken part of the bridge, and then you just want to look straight and up and just kind of jump up and over there. It looks a little intimidating, but it's actually not a bad jump at all. You don't have to do a crouch jump, so you don't even have to do that. But we're back here at this section where we initially were up on top of the roof of this building, and we shot a bunch of fuel rod rounds at that door shield. I'm going to fill up on BR ammo because there is still a crate of BR ammo right here. And behind me, like I mentioned, there is this overturned Warthog. I'm just looking at my shadow to see what I have. I want a fuel rod for sure, and I have a battle rifle, which is optional. And we want to overturn this Warthog, and we're going to drive a little bit further back into the level. The Warthog is actually optional. It just speeds things up significantly. So we're going to drive back to this point, and we're going to drive over here. And I like to drive past this Covenant barricade on the left, and then I'll just cut back, and we'll go back the way we came. So we've now hit all the load zones we need to hit to despawn a majority of the vehicles in the final section. So I'm going to skip ahead. We are on the highway again, and of course we're going to just jump across this gap like we did earlier, like we've done many times. We're going to hop into this chopper, and we're going to continue on, and we're going to skip ahead. Obviously, I'm skipping ahead and speeding up because you know where to go. And after much anticipation and much delay, we are finally going to actually move into this final section. We're going to go towards the right. This is an easier way to get up onto the highway. rather than the speedrun route, which is faster, but it's a little tougher to get up onto that rock wall, especially if there's enemies shooting at you. So you can see there's no wraiths up here on the highway. There's very few choppers and other enemies around. As a matter of fact, in this run, I don't see any choppers, though I know there's a couple running around somewhere. And for this final section, we're just going to boost past all of these brutes up ahead here at this blockade. We're going to go up to the left here and just kind of launch ourselves off this ramp with our chopper. Just boost on over here. Boost over all those guys over these barricades, and we're going to go over here and jump on the side of the cliff here where you could actually kind of hang out for a little bit. I like to hang out right here, and you just want to wait around here for like 30 seconds, wait for the brutes to settle. They're going to be following you and then kind of moving down towards the end here, and you usually get a checkpoint here, but once we do start moving around again, we're going to A, kill the turret, B, take down the shield door, and then C, move to a specific spot in this area, and that will trigger the cutscene and end the mission, even though all of these brutes will still be alive. So you want to aim at the top of that turret and then shoot 3 shots at it. You want to aim towards the middle of the shield door that you could see, because you kind of have to arc the fuel rod over items because it does drop after a while. And then you want to go down here, wait for a few more seconds, 15, 20 seconds or so the enemies kind of reset, stop shooting at you. You want to jump up towards the ridge in front of me here, jump over the railing, and then go under that tractor trailer that's kind of hanging off the edge of the cliff there on the right. And then we're going to go up to the right side of the shipping container and throw our bubble shield down, and you can see there's this big crack in the ground, so we're going to stand right about here. And as you can see, the cutscene has triggered. For whatever reason, that combination of events actually gets the cutscene to trigger and the mission to end. So the turret needs to be destroyed. The door shield needs to be destroyed. You need to stand in that spot, preferably with a bubble shield for protection. And it doesn't seem to work if you kill too many brutes, or possibly a brute in particular. I think it might be the beam rifle brute. If you kill the beam rifle brute, it seems like this doesn't work. Not 100% confirmed, but I have my suspicions. So just avoid killing any brutes in this final section, especially the beam rifle brute. And just a side note, in one playthrough I actually waited too long on the side of the cliff, and my marine buddies caught up with me and started killing brutes on their own, which ruined the trick. So don't wait forever on the cliffside. But that's all I got for this one, guys. I'll see you for the storm. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.